Greetings, welcome back to Blackbird News, where we are discussing climate change, abrupt climate change, and things adjacent. Thank you all, as always, for your comments and discussion. So much good info going on in the comment section. Good discussions and a couple of yucks here and there too. I'm going to read a comment from Realize. I consider myself a progressive through and through. I reject the faux Democrats and the batshit crazy Republicans. However, the climate situation coupled with the sixth mass extinction dislodges me from my progressive instincts. A progressive is someone who is trying to make the best of the system fairly based on facts. All of our issues stem from the system. It's systemic, stupid. The system needs to be shattered into a trillion pieces. We need to bulldoze 95% of commercial real estate and plant forests in their wake. Yesterday, we need to live simple lives without motor vehicles and without 95% of appliances, and we all need to be growing food. We have to come to the realization that we've been duped into accepting this violent, destructive system, as well as our slavehood for some gadgets we don't need. And the list goes on, but why regurgitate it? It will never happen voluntarily, but it will happen and is happening involuntarily. And as much as we all want to fight it and change it and finesse it, we will not stop the consequences of our behavior, not one tiny iota. We will not save any species, not even one, including ourselves. Just accept it and make the most of your time because it's unraveling quick. We all have a terminal diagnosis from birth. There's no cure for human or life. Reject this system and live for yourself and your friends and family. Forget about fitting in. Normal sucks. I consider myself a regressive through and through to my core. Hope you all enjoyed that comment. I did. Moving on to what some might consider good news. It's from February 11th, 2019. Los Angeles ditches plan to invest billions in fossil fuels, Mayor Eric Garcetti says. Los Angeles is abandoning a plan to spend billions of dollars rebuilding 3 natural gas power plants along the coast. Mayor Eric Garcetti said Monday in a move to get the city closer to its goal of 100% renewable energy and improve air quality in highly polluted communities. The mayor's decision marks an abrupt change of course for the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, where top staffers have argued in recent months that the gas plants are critical to keeping the lights on in the city. Environmental groups have urged DWP to replace the aging facilities with cleaner alternatives, saying the gas-fired plants need to go because they contribute to climate change and local air pollution. Los Angeles has steadily moved away from coal for electricity, divesting from the Navajo plant in Arizona 3 years ago and announcing plans to stop buying power from Utah's Intermountain plant by 2025. But with coal, the most polluting fossil fuel, now nearly removed from the city's energy mix, it's time to start planning for a future with zero planet-warming energy sources, Garcetti said Monday, and that means no natural gas. It's the right thing to do for our health. It's the right thing to do for our earth. It's the right thing to do for our economy, Garcetti said, and now it's time to start the beginning of the end of natural gas. Wow. Bold stuff from Mr. Garcetti. This is the Green New Deal, he added, referring to the sweeping climate change policies championed by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, endorsed by several contenders for the Democratic presidential nomination, not in concept, not in future, but now. The mayor's decision comes several months after state lawmakers passed a bill requiring California to get 100% of its electricity from climate-friendly sources by 2045. Ooh, that's a long time from now, up from a previous target of 50% renewable by 2030. A slate of environmental groups had argued, well, wait, hold on, 100% by 2045 or 50% by 2030, which would you take? I mean, I don't know. Anyways, It needs to be 100% by 2030, but is 50% going to happen by 2030? Who knows? A slate of environmental groups had argued that investing in the Los Angeles gas plants would be inconsistent with that goal, and had urged Garcetti and the DWP not to rebuild the Scattergood, Harbor, or Haynes power plants along the coast. The city is under state orders to shutter 10 gas-fired generating units of those facilities in the coming years because they use ocean water for cooling, which can harm marine life. Okie dokie. Well, the Scattergood and Harbor gas plants sit in communities with some of the worst pollution in California. State data showed Scattergood is in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo, just south of Los Angeles International Airport. I actually left my wallet in where did I leave my wallet? What's out just outside of the airport? I guess in the airport area of LA. Not my wallet, but my debit card. Does anybody need to know this? I don't know. Just south of Los Angeles International Airport. And Harbor is in Wilmington by the ports of LA and Long Beach. As recently as December, DWP management signaled support for replacing some of the gas-fired generators with newer, more efficient machines equipped with dry cooling technology that doesn't use ocean water. Utility officials said that the batteries charged with solar or wind power aren't yet cheap or reliable enough to replace the gas plants without increasing the risk of power outages among the 4 million people served by DWP. Anyways, it goes on and on. I'm not going to read the rest of this, but, you know, good on my hometown, city of LA, for trying, anyways. Here's an article from Robert Hunziker. It's kind of long. Let's see if I can make it through. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but it is long. This is from yesterday. Global warming's monster awakens. The planet's biggest nightmare is coming to life. It may be a bigger threat much sooner than ever before, realized simply because it's accelerating. East Antarctica, the world's largest body of water trapped in ice, is knocking the socks off expectations. Along the way, it's the world's most horrifying surprise, yet nobody really knows how it will play out because the science is still in early stages. Nevertheless, a formidable issue is at hand. Vincennes Bay in East Antarctica is home to humongous glaciers like Totten Glacier, 2,400 square miles, which is the largest glacier in the bay and equivalent to at least 11 feet of sea level rise alone. But it is only one of several glaciers in Vincennes Bay, or Vincennes. Recent NASA research indicates that 4 glaciers west of Totten Glacier in Vincennes Bay have receded by 9 feet since 2008. Heretofore, there was no measured change in these glaciers, period. Surprisingly, within one decade, there's measurable loss of 9 feet. After years and decades and centuries upon centuries of East Antarctica stability. This is disturbing and begs the question of what if the melting accelerates more and keeps on accelerating more than previous rates of acceleration, then what? According to NASA, well, that is what's going to happen if we don't do something. Even if we do something, that's what's going to happen unless we get some miracle technology to refreeze the Arctic and the Antarctic. According to NASA, East Antarctica has the potential to reshape coastlines around the world through sea level rise, but scientists have long considered it more stable than its neighbor, West Antarctica. Now, new detailed NASA maps of ice velocity and elevation show that a group of glaciers spanning 1/8 of East Antarctica's coast have begun to lose ice over the past decade, hinting at widespread changes in the ocean. Additionally, in the opposite direction, or east of Totten Glacier, a collection of glaciers doubled their rate of ice loss since 2009. By all appearances, the last 10 years has served to alter East Antarctica into early stages of meltdown phase. As previously mentioned, this is an unexpected event. Is it now? Meanwhile, for some time now, at the opposite side of the continent, West Antarctica has been in the grip of rapid breakdown. In fact, Pine Island Glacier in West Antarctica is one of the fastest flowing ice streams on the planet. For example, Pine Island Glacier is dispensing icebergs into the Amazon C, from ice shelves with increasing frequency, which is troubling to say the least. The most recent iceberg B46, 87 square mile split off in October 2018. Pine Island Glacier, equal to 1.7 feet of sea level rise, shed icebergs in 2001, 2007, 2011, 2013, 2015, 2017, and 2018. Ice shelves are floating ice sheets that do not contribute much to rising sea levels since they are already mostly afloat, thus displacing their own weight. They extend out over the water from icy land masses, but significantly, as a matter of course, serve as a backstop or physical barrier of ice sheets holding back rapid glacial ice flow into ocean waters. Therefore, losing ice shelves out of the ordinary in rapid succession is obviously an ominous signal of trouble dead ahead, meaning glacial ice flow that directly impacts sea levels is freed up, and away. Typically, in years past, West Antarctica shed an iceberg every 6 years, whereas recent activity has shockingly compressed time over the past 2 decades to respectively once every 6 years, 4 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, and most recently 1 year. That's powerful evidence of a major change in ice sheet behavior. For that reason, among others, scientists have always focused on West Antarctica's instability rather than East Antarctica. Now, in addition to serious concerns about the western region of the continent, surprise, surprise, after analyzing 40 years of data and satellite images, East Antarctica is no longer considered immune to climate change. Not only that, but unfortunately, this new data about East Antarctica is at odds with a significant 2018 study that showed less reason for concern, and therefore assuming this new information is thoroughly validated could dramatically reshape projections of sea level rise. To say this news is disheartening is comparable to standing dockside at berth 44 of Southampton on April 10th, 1912, waving goodbye to passengers on the Titanic. East Antarctica destabilization, according to Eric Garcetti, glaciologist, University of California, Irvine. The more we look at the system, the more we realize this is a fragile system. One of the glaciers are destabilized. Once these glaciers are destabilized, there is no red button to press to stop it. Antarctica's ice sheet is larger than the US and India combined. Its 3 major ice sheets contain 70% of the planet's fresh water in ice. One catalyst behind ice sheet misbehavior is ocean absorption of 90% of anthropogenic global warming, which manages to flow underneath the massive ice sheets. Additionally, global warming multiplies 2 times via polar amplification, meaning Antarctica's surface temperatures increase twice as fast as the global average. This is a unique aspect of high latitude polar temperatures up north in the Arctic as well as down south in Antarctica. Not only are temperatures magnified 2 times in high polar latitudes, but also in everyday contemporary life, global warming is striking hard, which does not bode well as to further magnification of polar temperatures. For example, Australia sizzled like a blazing hot oven in late 2018 as temperatures exceeding 42 C or 107 Fahrenheit. Roads melted, tens of thousands of bats dropped dead, many found on city streets, and hundreds of thousands of bony herring, golden and silver perch, and Murray cod died, demonstrating the impact of erratic and excessive temperature variations. Meantime, in similar fashion, due south of Australia, Antarctica's ice sheets rumbled and tumbled, threatening inconvenience for coastal communities as a best-case scenario, but maybe most probably much worse. As it happens, the world is changing right before humanity's eyes. Nowadays, global warming is more than a threat of rising sea levels, which in and of itself looks grim. Indeed, never so grim as of now, but it's also turned into a vicious mass killer. Still, the biggest questions of the 21st century remain unanswered. What can be done and who will take charge? After all, greenhouse gases are a fact of life not easily removed. One answer: build seawalls like Trump International Golf Links and Hotel Ireland, which received a permit to build 2 seawalls in December 2017. Trump's 2016 permit application cited climate change, rising sea levels, and extreme weather conditions as reasons for getting the permit. So, as I have said multiple times, many times, Trump knows, and he's just serving up right-wing talking points in order to get everybody to carry on doing what they're doing, because we don't want the economy to collapse If we tell the truth, it might do that tomorrow. And lastly, leaving you all with some more bad news. This is from February 6th, 2018. Sorry, Earth, the ozone layer isn't healing itself after all. Throughout the history of life on Earth, there's been a little noticed helper, a thin but important layer of ozone in our planet's stratosphere. Transparent to visible light, this trioxygen molecule isn't the type you breathe, but rather successfully absorbs incoming high-energy ultraviolet light. Without the ozone layer, this light would propagate down to the surface where it's capable of breaking organic bonds and working to counteract the natural life processes we hold so dear. Inadvertently, the widespread rise in chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, and their use in aerosol cans began to destroy the protective ozone layer, and some 30 years ago, humanity banded together to virtually eliminate CFC use. We thought the hole would close and the problem would solve itself, but a new study surveying a part of the ozone layer that hasn't been examined before shows that the overall problem hasn't improved in 20 years. The reason for the continuing decline is not fully understood, but could be a result of our changing climate. Could. Do you think? Increases in unregulated short-lived chlorine species, or some as yet unknown factor, but chemistry climate models do not reproduce the current changes we find. Could it be, all the nuclear bombs we exploded in the stratosphere back in the day? Could that be part of it? Who knows? In fact, if you quantify the amount of ozone concentrations overall have changed, you find that the amount that ozone in the lower stratosphere has decreased virtually cancels out the increases seen in other layers. This is an unexpected puzzle since we understand how ozone is naturally produced in the stratosphere by the same two ingredients, oxygen and ultraviolet light, that have always produced it. When ultraviolet light strikes an oxygen molecule, it breaks it up into two individual oxygen atoms. Each one can then react with another oxygen molecule, producing ozone molecules, which ought to remain in the stratosphere where production peaks. Mystery deepens. If we look at the lowest layer of Earth's atmosphere, the troposphere, this layer, consisting of the closest few kilometers of atmosphere to our surface, and over 80% of the Earth's atmosphere by mass, has shown an increase in ozone density. Admittedly, the data has only been available with global coverage for approximately 12 to 13 years, but it's quite convincing. It shows that the ozone density in the lowest layers is rising, just like it is in the upper stratosphere. This makes what's occurring in the mid to lower stratosphere all the more puzzling. There are 5 major conclusions to come out of this work, some, but not all of which are promising. The Montreal Protocol continues to demonstrate its effectiveness for increasing ozone density in the upper stratosphere as predicted. 2, mysteriously, the lower stratosphere has shown a larger magnitude ozone decline over the same time period. 3, overall, the global mid-latitude ozone density in the stratosphere has slightly decreased as the lower stratosphere effect has been slightly more powerful. 4, if you add the tropospheric increases in, the total ozone density has only remained relatively constant. And finally, the state-of-the-art models do not reproduce the observed ozone levels in the lower layers of the atmosphere. Although the study that drew these conclusions doesn't have a surefire explanation for this result, there are 2 possible culprits. 1 is very short-lived substances, VSLS, that could be destroying portions of the ozone layer. Research into that is ongoing. The second possibility is one that no one's happy about: global warming. Nice reference, global warming. Owing to global warming, there are suggestions that the tropopause has risen and will continue to rise. The troposphere has warmed, and these phenomena may have an effect on ozone concentrations in the lower stratosphere. Furthermore, greenhouse gas-induced climate change appears to be causing an increase in upwelling in the tropics, which could decrease stratospheric ozone there, according to simulations. The exact mechanism responsible for these changes has yet to be identified, but the data is clear. The 100% recovery by 2100 prediction didn't include these results. With this new understanding that recovery may be stalled or pushed out to extremely long timescales, and global warming may be exacerbating or even causing this trouble, as the Ball et al. Paper states, a rise in the tropopause due to the warming troposphere could lead to a decrease in ozone at mid-latitudes, but the tropopause rise is also affected by the ozone loss itself, where ozone in the lower stratosphere is an important factor in radiative forcing of the climate. Based on a straightforward physics, reducing lower stratospheric ozone will offset some of the forcing increase from rising GHGs. In other words, redistributing the ozone away from the lower stratosphere has actually reduced the radiative forcing that accelerates global warming. Yes, the hole in the ozone layer over Antarctica may be shrinking, but we have to examine the global effects of ozone, not just what's occurring at one pole. And when we do, it doesn't look good. The overall concentrations of ozone in the atmosphere worldwide have not increased since 1997, but are the same today as they were back then. As Ball and his collaborators state, the Montreal Protocol is working, but if the negative trend in lower stratospheric ozone persists, its efficiency might be disputed. Restoration of the ozone layer is essential to reduce the harmful effects of solar UV radiation and impact human and ecosystem health. Presently, models do not robustly reproduce the decline in lower stratospheric ozone identified here. This will be imperative both to predict the future changes and to determine if it is possible to prevent further decreases. If we are to restore the ozone layer and reduce the harmful effects of ultraviolet radiation of life on planet Earth, including to humans, we have to figure out what's causing this odd behavior. Whether you're a fan of current climate models or not, getting it right is essential to understanding our world and keeping it hospitable, not only for humans, but for ecosystems our planet depends upon. We only have one planet where life has arisen and sustained itself as far as we know. It's up to all of us to take care of it. Again, there's reports, lots of reports of higher UVB, higher UV all over, and also frightening reports of UVC being detected. UVC is not supposed to reach the ground. UVC is usually, or supposed to be, kept out of lower Earth atmosphere by the ozone layer and by the atmosphere itself, but that apparently is not happening. So who knows what's really going on. More information would be great. I believe a few weeks ago, Guy McPherson had a video asking the same questions, what's going on. Maybe something really bad is going on and they're not letting us know. What do you think? Think that's possible? Your guess is as good as mine. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you'd like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Until next time, peace.